Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Friday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Of course, the locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. You can always give us a shout at Hudco at 364-1007. 364-1007. Restored Motions, RestoredMotions.com. And ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. Okay, y'all, good morning. Um, Excited about the day. Should be a really good one. The LSU baseball Tigers are beginning their 3-game set over at Minute Maid Park. So we'll get to see LSU against Texas tonight. Tigers and Ragin' Cajuns on Saturday, and then LSU play Texas State on Sunday. The interesting thing, I'm not sure if you saw it. So LSU has not yet released a rotation for the weekend, and Jay Johnson has said, if nobody else has to release one, I'm not going to release one. So I don't blame him, playing a little gamesmanship. But LSU baseball did late last night post a picture of Luke Holman, and it said, "Let's ride." There is like the graphic they put out that has the interesting thing is there's the graphic they put out that has the 3 games for the weekend, and it's actually the graphic that's on the thumbnail for this video that's included there, and that's Thatcher Hurd there. So I don't know what they're going to do. It might be gamesmanship. I'll tell you, Doug Thompson came on AFR on Thursday, and I asked him what he wanted to see against Texas, and he said he wanted to see Gage jump. You give you 4 or 5 good innings, whatever it was. So he kind of alluded to maybe Gage Jump is going to get the baseball today. So I had heard that Jump hasn't pitched since last Thursday. Jump pitched last Thursday in the first game of last weekend's series. So I'd heard that maybe they were leaning to throwing Jump tonight, Friday night against Texas. Holman has been your most consistent guy to this point through 2 weeks. And I've also heard that Thatcher Hurd threw his best bullpen of the week and maybe was tweaking some things that he had gone away from here at the start of this year and was going to revert to some of the pitching and sequencing and arm slot, some of the stuff he did at the end of last year that was quite effective, obviously, and maybe was going to revert to some of that. So I think you might see hopefully a resurgence of Thatcher Hurd here this weekend. Again, he's pitched well. His problem's been the walks. So he'll give you 4 1/3 with 8 strikeouts, but he walks 4. So that's been his problem. So we'll see what direction they go. Again, no word yet from LSU. I'm sure we'll see. That might leak out today who they plan to start, but otherwise, we'll all wait and see. So you can read whatever tea leaves you want. Again, Doug Thompson told us on AFR, kind of let it slip that maybe Gage Jump might be starting. The LSU baseball Twitter late Thursday night tweeted a picture of Luke Holman that said, "Let's ride." And then on the graphic for the weekend, it's Thatcher Hurd. So we'll see. We'll see what direction ultimately they go. Texas is going to start LeBaron Johnson. I'm most certain of that. It was interesting to hear Kendall Rogers. If you didn't hear Kendall on AFR on Thursday, when we kind of previewed the series, I asked him about Texas, and he's like, "Listen, Texas, surprisingly, they have LeBaron Johnson. Look, LSU saw LeBaron Johnson last year. If y'all forgot, LSU played over in at Dish Falk Field there in Austin." And LeBaron Johnson went 5 innings and struck out like 9 in 5 innings. So LSU's going to face him. Big, strong arm pitcher, strikeout, wipeout stuff. So, but what was most interesting, I think, that Kendall told us was he said, but after LeBaron Johnson, they really don't have much in the staff, which is a little surprising for Texas. Like I'm looking at right here, a couple of guys. Cody Howard's got a a 0 ERA in 9 innings pitched. Charlie Hurley's thrown 9 2/3 with a .93 ERA. LeBaron Johnson is a 1.38 ERA in 13 innings pitched. But um, you know, you just don't have a lot out of you got your top three guys that are stars. You just don't have a lot out of the bullpen. So that's going to be interesting. If LSU can get through to LeBaron Johnson, you know, uh, maybe get him out of the game, get in that bullpen, that would serve the Tigers pretty well. So we'll see how it goes tonight over at Minute Maid. Big test, biggest test so far of the year. So I think it'll be interesting to see what direction Jay Johnson goes with his lineup. I think obviously I would think he'll go veterans there. I mean, of course, we'll see Mac Bingham in left. My guess is you catch Brady Neal and you DH Travinsky to get those bats in the lineup. Um, and I think Braswell plays short. I think I think the Pearson Milam thing is the most interesting. I think you put Milam at second, you put Pearson in right. So we'll see what direction they go. So LSU baseball tonight against Texas is going to be a good one. And then if you missed, there was a report from Jordan Schultz that the Saints are planning to release Marcus Maye. I do want to talk a little bit about that because that's just another failed free agent signing for New Orleans. It's May had the serious injury with the Jets the season before the Saints signed him. He played just the 6 games. I think ruptured his Achilles, played just the 6 games. So the Saints signed a guy coming off an Achilles. And then in 2 years, he's played a combined season. He played 10 games for the Saints in 2022 and just 7 games last year. So, you got a guy that has been injury prone, that was suspended, that when he's been on the field hasn't been productive. So, whatever, I guess it's the Jordan Howden. Well, hang on. There we go. I guess it's the Jordan Howden season for the Saints now. If you're going to release Marcus Maye, you I guess you're leaning toward the second year player from Minnesota, unless if they're going to go sign a free agent. But if you look at Maye, again, just 2 interceptions last year, only 37 tackles on the season. Just wasn't even a productive player, when he was on the field for the Saints, and he was seldom on the field. So, um, his deal was a 3-year, $22.5 million contract. Um, let's see if they release him. Um, they're going to save. If they designated a post June 1st release, they'll save about $7 million against the cap. Pre June 1, they'll save about $1.1 million against the cap. So we'll see ultimately how they designate it. I don't know yet. We'll wait on that news. But Saints will save a little money and part ways from a veteran player who just hasn't been able to stay healthy. Okay, let's say some good mornings here. You know the drill. Smash that like button, subscribe up to the channel on YouTube, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. Shout out to our friends over on LinkedIn. Please connect and repost this and all that stuff. It's been fun to see our LinkedIn grow a little bit, so thanks for that. My friend Michael, good morning. Tim Gotro, big game in H-Town. Let's go. Horns down. James McKinney, good morning. Randall Offrecht. Morning, Matt. Would you take LSU baseball or the field? For the national championship, the field. I would say that in darn near any sport that I would take the field. It's just when you get into tournament play, so much can happen. Remember, LSU hasn't repeated as national champion since 97, 98. And college baseball hasn't had a repeat national championship in more than a decade. So I think Drew might be up. So yeah, I would take the field. The smart thing to do is to take the field. Kelly Gross, good morning. By the way, we had the same conversation on AFR during football season when everybody was Georgia's the best team, this or that, and me, Moose, and Paulie all went around the room, and Paulie and Moose both took Georgia. I said, I'll take the field because you always take the field. Brian Wynn, good morning. Jason H, good morning. Christian, good morning. Let's get it out of the way. What are the the kicks of the day? Going with my my Jordan 1 lows. I don't know if you it's hard to tell. I don't know if you could tell. They're gray and sort of bone colored. So, but I love them, man. Kind of neutral, really sharp looking shoe. It'll match the gray here, and then obviously offset with the I'm wearing black pants, so it'll offset that. So Jason H. Christian beat you to it. Samuel Smith, LSU basketball 1, LSU baseball 1, women's basketball 1. No sign of Anthony Guglielmo. So those that don't get it, Anthony's a viewer, and in our interaction seems like a great guy. I want to say that. But he is the quintessential like negative fan. When things don't go, he is Randy Quaid or Dennis Quaid. I think Randy Quaid. Yeah, in the outfield in Major League Two, just yelling at the team about how much they stink at everything. That's Anthony. He is always quick to point out, and again, I'm psychoanalyzing him, but I think it's just a defense mechanism. He doesn't want to set himself up for disappointment when his team fails. So it's easier just to laugh at them when they fail. Nah, we stink. We're no good. Blah 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 blah. Oh, I'd love to be proven wrong. It's just it's a defense mechanism fans use so as not to open themselves up emotionally to disappointment. But he is the king of the negative fans. Charlie Cavell, good morning. James Charles, good morning. When are you and Beloso going to drink that Blanton's Gold? That'll be a fun conversation. James, I've been trying to make it happen, man. I've been trying to make it happen with Hot Rod and with Cade. Cade has been tougher to nail down. Maybe we could do it before the Florida series. That would be a lot of fun. Try to do it before the Florida football game this past year. Try to do it for opening day this year. Try to do it over the summer. We just haven't been able to coordinate to get all three of us. We're going to work on it. We're going to get it done. Jay Borden, Antron Hemingway, good morning. Great win for the girls last night. Yeah, man. LSU, Kim Mulkey and the squad. If you're watching the game, really, it was on ESPN2 last night. They got up 30 in the third quarter. I mean, they were boat racing Georgia. And then Georgia went on like a 16-0 run. And all of a sudden you look up and it's like 11. And Georgia's got a 3-ball in the air. It's like 13, and they got a 3-ball in the air, and you're like, this could get. They missed it. LSU went on a run and sort of just blitzed them the rest of the way. But it got a little more interesting than it needed to be late. But they're playing their best ball right now. Taz, since the Lions have their quarterback in Goff, we need a backup. How about trading for Hendon Hooker? He could be our future. So Taz, you know how I feel about Hendon Hooker. I loved him at Tennessee. I would have drafted him higher. I understand he was like a 25-year-old player coming off a knee injury, which is why he dropped on a lot of draft boards. I think you have to legitimately ask yourself, what would it take to get Hendon Hooker if you're going to trade for him, number one. And number two, Antron, you got to, or that wasn't Antron. That was, that was Taz. Taz, you have to remember the Saints have financially committed themselves to Derek Carr for the next 2 years. So, why would you go trade for Hendon Hooker now when he's on a rookie deal that with Carr as your guy the next 2 years, you'd have 1 year on the final year of his rookie deal for Hendon Hooker? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I love the player, but the circumstance to acquire him wouldn't make any sense. Eric Wilder out of Morning, Matt. Sorry if it's been mentioned. Shouldn't Perkins watch Deion Jones film all summer? Regardless, I still worry we don't have a 3 technique that can keep people off of it. I think the biggest difference is skill set. I understand your point because of size. Duke Riley, too. Deion Jones, Duke Riley both played Will Backer and were smaller guys. So, I think what the most gigantic difference with those guys is by the time they played, by the time Deion Jones and Duke Riley actually played, they had gone from being like versatile special teams guys to fourth, fifth. Was Duke Riley a fifth year guy? Senior players who'd been around so much and were instinctive linebackers. That's not what Harold Perkins is. That's the big difference. Like he's trying to learn how to play inside backer. And like Kendall Beckwith did it, but Kendall Beckwith was also 6'3", 255. You know, Lowell Cormier, good morning. Brian Broom, good morning. Bubba Smith, what up? Von Bluesman, good morning. Did you hear Paul Skeens fires 102-mile-an-hour pitch in his debut? I did. Clean inning for Paul Skeens as well. Looked pretty good, man. There were some highlights if you want to see them there on Twitter and such. Greg Phillips, morning. Do you know which side of the stadium LSU will have in Vegas, home or away? I don't know that. Greg, shoot me a message on my text line or DM me or something like that and ask, and I'll find out. But I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Hey, Dad. Good morning. Trivia Carter. Randall Offrecht, is Texas throwing their ace? Yeah, they're going to throw LeBaron Johnson. That's a given. Jason H voted for you last. Oh, thank you, man. Leon, let me post that again if y'all don't mind. I don't mean to be annoying with this, but I would appreciate it. Best of 225 is live. I was nominated again for Best of 225, so thank you for that. It's an open nomination process where anyone can nominate anyone, and then whoever has the most nominations end up on the ballot. And so, just very candidly, it's humbling. I end up on the ballot every year for best radio personality, which is, again, humbling, and I'm super grateful that people listen and think enough to do that. I've only won one time ever. That's it right there. It was 2020, and I beat Murphy, Sam, and Jody. I was like at 25%, and Murphy, Sam, and Jody were at like 24.8%. I mean, it was like right there. So, that they're great. They've been on air forever. And that's also sort of their demographic, right? 225 magazine it skews more toward a female readership, and Murphy, Sam, and Jody's the morning show, 96.1 The River, and has been forever. And I love them, by the way. I mean, I worked over at Clear Channel, now iHeart, when I was at the Score. All three of them, Bob, Murphy, and Jody, who I think some of you know they're a married couple, and I I think the world of them. They've always been great to me. I don't know Sam North as well, but Murphy and Jody have been awesome to me, and I consider them not only colleagues but friends. I love them dearly. I mean, I'm so happy for their success, and they deserve it. But I would love to beat them. It's just we're not. It's just difficult because they're really good. They're so established. They've been around for a long time. That arena is theirs, right? But it's always cool to win. So if you would, I just posted the link for Best 225. You need an email address to be able to vote. So if you wouldn't mind and would vote, I'd appreciate it. Trivia, how do we watch the game? Yeah, it's going to be streaming on the Astros YouTube, I believe, MLB TV. If you go to the website, the Astros Foundation Classic website, there is a link at the top how to watch. But as my understanding, it is going to be on the Astros YouTube channel. You'll be able to watch all the games live there. Deborah Coward, good morning. Brant Roban, literally sitting in the endodontist getting ready for a root canal. They assure me it's not bad at all. Hey, just get the good stuff, Brant. Just get the good juice, man. You'll go into a faraway place and won't think anything of it. It'll be fine, dude. Thanks for watching. I just hope you don't associate my voice with getting a root canal. Terry Dakota game is on Space City on DirecTV and Fubo. Okay. Again, let me go to it here. Please smash the like button, by the way, if you're there. Like I'm going. Also, if you go to MLB.com, you go to the Astros Foundation Classic. That's tickets. Um, yeah, I think it's gonna be on MLB TV too, but I think it is on the Astros YouTube channel. Um, yeah, they're gonna air it also on the Astros YouTube channel as well. You'll be able to watch live there. So that's cool. So you'll be able to watch it for free. You're not gonna there's no paywalls or anything like that. You'll be able to watch it. Whoop. Sorry, read that one. Charlie Cavell. Did you happen to see Parkway's Chloe Larry hit a half court shot to win over Walker in girls hoops? It made SVP's best thing I saw. I did not see that, but that is very cool. Thanks for sharing, Charlie. I'm sure I'll be able to find it on Twitter or something like that. That's really cool. Taylor, who did Jimmy Ott pick for the LSU baseball game tonight? Don't know. You'd have to listen to Jimmy's show today. But I always tell you, man, there's just really not a lot of value in betting college baseball. Usually you have to lay so much juice and it's just not worth it. So you do what you want, but I don't bet college baseball. There just isn't enough. The juice you have to lay is just not worth it. It's effort ain't worth the payoff. Don Shreen, what's going on with Michael Thomas? I don't think he's going to be part of the New Orleans Saints next year. It's a matter, do they try to find a trade partner, which I don't think they can. Cut him, give him his outright release. I don't know. Do they do it before or after the draft? We'll see. Jeff G, Matt, you're going to be in Vegas for LSU USC. Do you know when tickets might be available? Yes, and tickets are available now. Um, Now, if you want to go, if you want a ticket through LSU, they make that available to season ticket holders first, right? And so then based on whatever allotment they have remaining, then they'll sell to the general public through the ticket office. But you can go get tickets through the Vegas Kickoff Classic or whatever they call it. You can go to their website and buy tickets right now. Brad Sonia, morning, Matt. About to head to Houston for a full weekend of baseball. Go Tigers. All right, Brad, safe travels, man. Billy Freeman, 96, 97, wasn't it? Repeat years. Yes, I'm sorry. They lost in 98. Yes, of course, Warren Morris, 96, and then they blew out Alabama in 97. 98 was the year that they were up on USC came back and beat them twice. Yes, my apologies. For those who just joined us, we're talking about someone asked would I take LSU or the field in baseball, and I said the field. I mean, you always take the field. It's a tournament play, and we haven't seen LSU hasn't repeated as champion since 96, 97, and college baseball hasn't a repeat champion in more than a decade. So, um, yeah, the field wasn't it? I mean, wasn't South Carolina in 10 and 11 the last time we had I think Oregon State did, but I think that might have been like 07, 08. Um, there it is. Oregon State was 06, 07. South Carolina was 10, 11. Yeah, so South Carolina in 10 and 11 was the last time we had a repeat champion. So it's been 13 years, you know. It's hard to do. All right, YouTube, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. Wendell Norman, good morning. Justin Holman said, hook 'em. Okay, Justin. See you tomorrow. Samuel Smith, how do people not want a 12-team playoff? If the Burrow team loses to Bama on the road and Bama goes to the SEC championship, LSU may not have made a playoff with that team for one loss. Yes, and that would work both ways. I mean, the one that I always give, the example I always give is 2001. I know it's been a long time, and a lot of people, especially younger people, may not remember how that season went. But LSU, um, of course, won the SEC championship that year, beat Tennessee in a big upset. But they lost to Tennessee, lost to Florida, and were upset by Ole Miss. They were 5-3 in the league, um, but uh, but won a tiebreaker over Auburn and went to the SEC championship game and upset Tennessee. And by the end of that season, LSU was playing as well as anybody in the country. Now, I don't know that they would have beaten that Miami team in 2001, but there is nobody that would have wanted to play that LSU team uh, at the end of that season. They were that dominant offensively. The defense had come along tremendously. They were playing with great confidence. I mean, they scored 48, whatever it was, on Illinois, who's the Big Ten champion that year in the Sugar Bowl. Um, I mean, they beat number 2 Tennessee, 31-20. I mean, Yeah, teams are allowed to get better. So, anyway, Tommy Primo, what's up? Irfan Sayad, good morning. Brian Wynn, you may have already touched on this. What are your thoughts about Jaden Daniels projected as the number one pick in the draft? I don't think anyone's projecting him as the number one pick, Brian. There's a big difference between being projected as the number one pick and somebody saying they feel like he's the best quarterback in the draft. Like Dan Orlovsky um, yesterday on ESPN said he feels Jaden is the best quarterback in the draft. Like if he had the number one pick, he would take Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams. That's a big difference between, and I don't know if that's what you're saying, but just to clarify, there's a big difference between someone saying I favor Jaden Daniels over Caleb Williams and him being projected as the number one pick. Because if someone was projecting him as the number one pick, then you're suggesting you have information that the Bears would take him number one. And I don't think that's going to happen. And I don't think it's surprising. Jaden is a more dynamic runner than Caleb, and I think Caleb this year on a 5-loss football team threw for a bunch of yards, but also got pressed a good bit and made some careless decisions with football. So you could make the argument. Jaden's taller. You could make the argument for sure. Irfan Sayad, about time the NFL gets rid of the chain gang. Saw an article they're going to use laser tech to determine down yardage. I've argued that forever, that in the year of our Lord 2020, now 4, we are still having two fat men hold poles with chain links together to determine if someone achieved 10 yards. It's the stupidest thing ever. So, yes, I would very much. But the problem with laser technology is the problem with Sky Judge and all the other things that we talked about. It costs money, and the NFL would rather not spend money if they can help it. And by NFL, I mean the owners. Ryan Chandler, I feel like Perkins can be a Nick Bolton type player. I like the comp. Barry Jocelyn, what's up? I think Nick Bolton might be a little bit bigger. But Bolton was a good player. Yeah, see, Nick Bolton's 5'11", 238. That's the big difference, man. He's 20 pounds heavier than Harold Perkins. That's what everybody keeps missing, man. Like Perkins is just an undersized guy. He's a super athlete coming off the edge, but it's hard to put him in the middle, man, because he's just anyway. Okay. Billy said Matt Mock came on strong in that period of time. No, he didn't. It was Rohan Davey. Matt Mock was the backup who only played in the second half of the SEC championship game because Rohan got knocked out. See, it's funny how people forget, like, how narratives unfold throughout time. It was not Matt Mock who came on strong during that period. Matt Mock was not the starter. Rohan Davey was. And Rohan Davey and Josh Reed were awesome. And Michael Clayton was a freshman that year. And Billy sounds right. It doesn't sound right. It is right. I was a sophomore in college. I went to every game that year. I was there in Tuscaloosa when Rohan threw for 500 yards. I stormed the field after LSU beat Auburn. It wasn't Mock didn't play that year. He played the second half of the SEC championship game when Rohan got knocked out when he got clobbered on the sideline and ruptured his spleen or whatever it was. Dude was bleeding internally. It was a lot of fun though. Okay, I gotta go. Thanks so much for watching. Y'all have an awesome day. Peace.